At this time, Community Hydrology is not a nonprofit yet, and we have not yet test trialed our programming for the public launch occurring this time next year. As ground floor community hydrologist, this presentation will go over some of the ways you can get involved with community hydrology activities that begin right here, right now. As I described in the introduction to this presentation, community hydrologists can re-enchant the Lowcountry and reconnect our communities. But we have a lot of turf to cover. And as I described in part 2 of this presentation, community hydrologists take responsibility for what can be done by implementing existing plans with many hands to care about and care for the waterways that define us. In the first quarter of this year, I am looking for a select few foundational board members who have the experience and availability to thoughtfully craft bylaws and file articles of incorporation with the state. In the spring, we will expand the board in advance of filing for federal tax-exempt status. If you or someone you know would be interested to serve on the board this year, I will gladly and gratefully forward the application and the 5-year financial and programmatic planning document I've drafted for the board's consideration. But my greatest hope and ask of all of you today is that you will join me for frequent and engaging volunteer activities this year, including, but not limited to, a book club, field excursions, and workshops. This year's trial round of community hydrology programming will inform program curriculum and lay plain some of the challenges before opening up to a public audience. I've invited you to start this journey with me here and now because I trust you and I trust your judgment. I would love to get your advice on all I am preparing to do next year, such as whether or not a book was too boring for next year's list, whether a field trip could have taken a less ambitious route, and I would ask that you test drive compost piles, rain barrels, rain gardens, and other measures in your own yards to highlight and address maintenance concerns. Based on your specific interests and area of expertise, I hope you will find many opportunities to engage that are exciting for you to take part in this year of practicing. It is in the spirit of this initiation that I ask you all to accept the first square foot challenge as you leave here today. This will be part of a larger campaign in 2023 with a working title of Love the Land, Lose the Lawn. Take the first square foot challenge. I'm asking you to assume responsibility for revegetating 1 square foot of lawn. By accepting one of the provided seed pouches, you confirm that you are willing and able to take this first step. All you have to do is rip out the turf grass, rake away a small amount of soil, and set it aside for later. Append the contents of the seed pouch provided, sprinkle a little soil on top, and tamp it down with your own 2 hands. A little compost mixed in the hole is great if you have it handy, but if not, best just to get the seeds in the freezing ground already. This is only the first square foot after all. Though I assume most lawn occurs in full sun, I have provided an option for shadier yards as well. The chief advantage of using locally adapted native seeds is that they have co-evolved with the conditions of our climate, and they support the communities of creatures that depend on our landscape for forage and shelter. I have selected species that manage to thrive quite well left to their own devices. If you, like me, are a total Darwinist in your approach, fear not. I expect many blooms to blossom within your 1 of many square feet. These plants belong here in the Charleston region, and they are well equipped to thrive. I would love it if you would keep me posted by joining the web-based application iNaturalist and sharing photos of the plants as they emerge this spring, proffer blooms this summer, attract pollinators in the fall, and develop seed heads over winter. Simply write @Community Hydrology in the comments section of your observations to tag me. iNaturalist is a database that will be integral to track community hydrology's progress. We can use it to identify the native plants we love, locate invasive species for removal, document species interactions, stagger your backyard park's bloom periods, schedule seed collection, and share results, revegetating our lawns within a broader community of interested and interesting iNaturalists. Sign up, for free by the way, and iNaturalist will email you some useful tips for getting started. Fostering land stewards for water bodies.